Happy Friday, everyone. We made it through another workday, or we're very close to working it through, aren't we? Happy Friday, the Trigger, Rich Bond Trigger. Welcome back for another 2 p.m. with the Trigger. And we're here every day at 2 p.m. Eastern Time to help you shine on camera, help you shine on stage so you can amplify you and your brand. So you're seen as a go to expert in whatever area you find yourself in. It's a new world. We live with new stages every day and new opportunities. And leveraging media is a powerful, powerful thing. And it's a great resource. And again, this week we've been talking about summits. Sandra D. Robinson joined me for 2 days on this particular show. And Sandra and I worked on one of her day summit as well. And today I'm just going to talk about hosting. Hosting is one of the most important, vital, central parts of a successful summit. The previous week, I was working on a 10-hour week-long event, 2 hours every day on a summit. I was the co-host, producer, and really we kind of flip-flop roles in some part of it where I was the host and the creator was actually the co-host. Hosting is so important. I've been doing this for 36 years. I've been a broadcaster, hosting sports talk shows, and so many other things. And now on the virtual stage, of course, How to Rock the Stage streams live every Wednesday night. That's a show in itself. These 2 p.m. lives we do 5 times a week. And then I run and host shows for other people. But the hosting is so important. And this is what I coach because the host is the glue. The host is the energy bunny. The host is often the producer at the same time. In this new virtual world that we live in, and I use Restream for all the things that I'm doing here Monday through Friday. I can produce my own show. I can have the transitions, the swipes. Some shows, yes, I have my own producer because it's so much going on with the information. But the host makes or breaks most summit. If you disagree, drop it in the chat. I would love to hear from you on these thoughts, the feedbacks of what you think about what's going on in the world of summits. And again, this is an ongoing open conversation, but we're getting serious about summits this week. But the host, you really have to think about it. When I work with people, they want to know a couple things about hosting. First of all, what's the big deal? The number one thing is, what's the big deal? Can't I just do this, Trigger? Am I able to just learn what you do in a 30-minute coaching session? No, you can't. I'm going to be real honest. You can't learn what I know and what I've learned in 36 years in 30 minutes. It does not work. The best way to do is collaborate, to coach while we're in the moment, coach before to learn things. So my coaching can help you during your event. But what really honestly happens is as we're preparing, planning, getting ready to do the event, a lot of the creators of the events realize this is a lot of work. I'm a showrunner. I'm a promoter. I'm doing all these things. And I have not even thought about hosting the event, even though it's my event. And I thought I wanted to host it. This is really how the conversation goes. Instead, they'll invite me to come in and host it because they are already burnt out, tired, and they still have to do all the follow-up from their event. So the host is a separate role from everything else. The host is the one that keeps the narrative going, keeps the energy. The energy of an event is so important. How long is your next summit going to be? How long is your next virtual course going to be? Ask yourself, do you have the energy to pull that off after everything you've done leading up to your event? That's a really big question. Do I have the energy to actually do this event? Because your crowd will feed off of your energy. If you do not have the energy, your crowd will turn off, click out, and go someplace else. The host paves the way. The other thing the host does, and this happened a lot over the last 2 weeks, I can really illustrate a lot of ways, but being the host, some guests are late. What do you do when a guest is late? What do you do when you're waiting, but you don't want to look like you're waiting? What do you do when there's a technical problem, but you don't want to let the world know there's a technical problem? What do you do? That's the host job. The host job magically keeps the energy up, has other things always prepared. I always have a notepad. I always have an extra side panel up with information. So I am always ready at a moment's notice to cover whatever is going on backstage, off camera, that no one knows about. But the goal is the host never sweats. The host never breaks the illusion that everything is fine, even though the private chat may be telling them, stall, we're not ready. You may have people that never ever show up for a segment. We had that happen yesterday with our live event with Summer D. Robinson. Someone got sick last minute. What did we do? We held it up beforehand. We knew the topic and we knew it enough that between the two of us, we could quickly cover that segment and make it look really good. And we led it as hosting, informative, Q&A. We smiled and we flowed right into the next time segment on time, on purpose. There's a lot of things that go on that people do not realize that the host is actively helping to juggle and do. I've had times where someone beamed in and you could see they're trying to log in, they can't log in. We tell them to re-beam back out, re-beam back in, and you just keep it going. Now, the host also is the one, and I recently had this in my meetup group that I run for open mic night. It doesn't happen much more anymore, but you do still get bombed. People come in and they just want to be idiots. They want to be jerks. They want to disturb what you have planned. As a host, there's one or two ways to handle that. There's really only one or two ways. You can get frazzled and lose it on camera, and it will affect the rest of your show. Or you can learn to be calm and cool and handle the interruption, handle the nonsense, and be cool. Go on with the conversation, mute whoever it is. That's number one, mute whoever that disrupted person is. Bump them out of it, gracefully bump them out, saying, hey, sorry about that, everybody. This stuff happens, but back on topic. And you redirect everyone from the craziness back to the intentional topic. That's the host's job. The host's job is to make sure everyone relaxes and no one tenses up. The host is the one that does all the proper introductions for everybody. So you need to have those introductions pre-done and ready to go. The number one way to set your guest up for success is that you introduce them every time, high energy, like a rock star, and the way they want to be introduced. Oh, Rich, they didn't send me their bio. They didn't send me their introduction. What do I do, Rich? Because I don't have the information. I will go out and I will grab that information. I will make a proper introduction for that person. That's part of the host's job. Or the producer and the host go do that. During yesterday's event, we had a person that we thought we had their bio. We thought we had it all set, and somehow it wasn't in the document for the run of show. While we were doing another part of it, and someone else was presenting after I introduced and did that one, during that segment, I was out collecting information, resetting, getting a new introduction ready for the next person that was coming on. All the while, I'm smiling on camera and looking like I'm paying attention, nodding my head, having a good time, and I'm cutting and pasting. So when the next one came, seamlessly, we move right on in. Hosting is an intense job. Hosting is lots of fun. Everyone wants to be the host. Everyone wants to do it. But then you have to look at your project. You have to look at your goal of your project. What's the goal of the summit? One goal is you want everyone to have a great experience. This is an experience, and you, the host, are creating it. Who is going to help create that experience? That's a question you need to come up with every summit you do. Who is the best person to create that experience to have people get the highest value? The host is going to bring that value. The host is going to set that vibe. They're going to set the professionalism. They're going to set that agenda. Who is going to be that host? Then, how are we going to work with that host to have all the behind the scenes stuff, help that host also do a great job? Now, things break, things go down. That's where the host has got to be very agile, fluid, and move. You've seen this on the news. The best probably way to look at this is you are a news anchor running these summits. In the news, you'll see people sometimes touch their ears. Sometimes they'll slow down their pace and they're reading. They're getting inside information from their off-camera producer through their earpiece. And they're being told, we have an emergency. We're going to cut away to another story. because they have their run of show. Every newscast has a pre-planned run of show. They meet and they talk about the run of show. But if you have breaking news, someone's got to tell you, and you have to look really cool. You have to wrap up that story, and breaking news is happening right now. We're getting ready to cut over to, and you have to stall, make it look like you're not stalling, to get over to the live feed with a new person, scrambling with a microphone, scrambling with a camera. And your job as the host is to make it look like this is smooth sailing for everybody. I love hosting. I love helping people succeed and shine. My passion, as I said, the top of most every show is my passion is to help you shine on camera and stage. The best way I can do that is by being a host. That's why we're doing this. That's why we do every one of these shows, to help you grow these skills or ask the questions that you need to ask. But that summit that you're going to be put together, that symposium you're going to put on, that next special event to raise funds, who is going to be your anchor? Who is going to be your host? Who is going to be the one that is going to bring life to your vision? And that's where the magic happens. Again, I love working with creatives. I love working with people who want to take on new media and new projects. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, there's a realization of they're the creator, but they may not be the voice for their project. Now they can become the voice. They can learn these skills. They can become that anchor. But I have worked with people and they've got done and said, I never should have done everything. I never should have promoted, produced, tried to market, tried to sell, hosted, post-production. I never should have tried to do it all. That's why in the media, that's why when you do these events, you need a team. Going all the way back to the beginning of our week-long conversation on summits. If you're going to have a really great summit, you need a team. You need a team to help you produce it, promote it, sell it, do everything you need to do. Right people, right place, right positions, so you have the amazing summit, so the value is there. The information is assembled properly, so the people watching and learning can soak up a great event and they don't have to worry or panic because you're not worried or panicked. If you have questions about this, if you want to learn more about hosting, it's a great thing. Upcoming, I do a podcasting 101. Again, this Monday night, we're going back for part two. Part two of podcasting 101 this week is going to be the green room conversation. A good host, a good producer will have a pre-conversation backstage in the green room. Here's the expectations. Here's the run of shows. Here's how we're going to do this. They set the people up for success. And you also remind them, especially if you're live, whatever happens, follow the host. The host has got this. They're in control. The number one thing you do is follow the host. That's all part of the green room conversation. We're going to break it down and go even deeper with that on Monday night. Grab a link. It'll be in the post-chat conversation, all in the description of how you can register and join that. But if you want to learn more about how to be a great host, you want to learn more how to shine on camera and stage for your next summit, your next event, one way is to work with me. I will help you do that. Another one is to get coached up. Contact me, Rich at richbontrager.net. Again, that's Rich at richbontrager.net. Hey, that's going to do it for this week of Rock the Stage. Again, go back, watch the replays. We will be airing them and learn more about how the great, amazing, super summit that you would like to be and have and produce. And otherwise, I will see you at 2 p.m. with The Trigger next Monday live.